meditating on the Christmas crèche or Christmas crib or the nativity scene. Simple but very instructive. The church is mater et magistra. That is, the church is mother and teacher. And every good teacher, when he or she is teaching, makes sure that he engages all the senses of the students so that they will be able to appreciate what they are being taught. So the birth of Christ is found in the Bible. You can read it from the Bible. That is for those who are literate, who are able to read, who are able to write. But the church is not made up of only those who are able to read and write. There are many others who can't read, who can't write. And they also must receive the message. So how do you bring the message to them? So the church, as a wise teacher, knows that yes, whereas others can read the Christmas story in the Gospels, she also presents the Christmas story in a concrete way so that even if you can't read, at least you can see and appreciate what you hear read to you. So it is not surprising that St. Francis of Assisi was the one who started this old beautiful tradition of the Christmas crèche. And we are told that when he asked his friend to help him with the nativity scene, and after the friend has built the nativity scene and then they had their first mass celebrating Christmas with the nativity scene, it is said that one of them had an experience, and he thinks he had a vision of seeing the baby Jesus in the manger. So the real Jesus was lying as you can see now. That was the experience the person had. And in 2019, Pope Francis issued an apostolic letter entitled the Admirabile Signum. And I like the way the apostolic letter starts. It begins by saying the enchanting image of the Christmas crèche. The enchanting image of the Christmas crèche. And the Pope gives us the history of the Christmas crèche, noting that it started with St. Francis of Assisi. And he is saying that this tradition must go on. We must have the nativity scene in our public squares, in our churches, wherever people gather, to remind ourselves of the Christmas story. And I've been saying this Christmas to my congregation that the first king-size bed was a manger, because Jesus is king, and his bed was a manger. And if you know what a manger is, we know it is, call it feeding trough. where the animals eat. So in the manger, you have the hay. The animals' food is put there. So the cattle, the donkeys, and the rest, they come and eat from the manger. And that is where Jesus is put. Again, born in Bethlehem, the city of David. And Bethlehem, we are told, means the house of bread. So here is Jesus, born in Bethlehem, the house of bread. Here is Jesus put in a manger where animals feed. So these are prophetic, already telling us about the baby Jesus. The fact that he will be the bread of life. And he himself said it, that I am the living bread that came down from heaven. And whoever eats this bread will not die, will have life. And at the Last Supper, he took bread, gave it to his disciples and said, take this and eat it. This is my body, which will be given up for you. So right from the Christmas story, we have been told about Jesus and the fact that he will feed humanity. He is the bread of life. And the Holy Eucharist, the Holy Communion we receive, is described as the medicine of immortality. So when we eat the body of Christ, when we drink his blood, it gives us life. It gives us everlasting life. So anytime you stand before the Christmas crèche, you are looking at the gospel presented to you as though it is happening right before you. It's to help you appreciate what we read in scriptures. And with this, grandmother, grandfather, parents, who may not be able to read the Bible, are still able to look at this and teach their young ones. My grandmother can't read, but she comes here with a young person, with a granddaughter or grandson. She is able to say, okay, that is Jesus lying in the manger. And I don't know, do you remember, I've been telling this story, which I saw on the internet, the comic, and the teacher, religious ed, was reading the infant narratives to her kids and got to a point where she said that there was no room in the inn for Jesus, for Joseph and Mary. That is why Jesus was put in the manger. And one of the kids, modern day kid, frustrated, says Joseph should have gone online and booked a room before leaving. She didn't know that in those days there was nothing like internet, not to talk of online booking, So then the grandmother, grandfather will be able to tell her, no, son, in those days there was nothing like internet. There was nothing like online booking, And the mother or the father is able to tell the child, Jesus is the Son of God. He is God himself, and yet came down as a baby. The infinite God became finite man. So as you go about in life, don't judge a book by its cover. You can never tell how God will appear to you, how Jesus will appear to you. The whole world least expected that God will become a baby like this. If Jesus were to be born, let's say, even in a palace, in a castle, they would have said, yes, definitely. Then you see, he's God, so he should be born in a palace or in a castle. At least that we will understand. But Son of God, not born in a palace, not born in a castle, but in a manger. Not even in an ordinary room where people live, but a place inhabited by animals. That shows how unpredictable God is. The fact that God cannot be caged. So, Jesus can appear as a poor person. He can appear as a rich man. He can appear as a man. He can appear as a woman. So if God is able to come down to us in the form of a baby, then he can appear in other forms. So when you meet anybody, don't look down upon them. Don't disregard them. It may be Jesus appearing before you. And now, Jesus lying there in a manger, and all the characters, Joseph, Mary, the shepherds, you can see that they are all looking down at him. They are all, in a way, they are bowing before him. That should also teach us about humility. That should teach us about humility. So we don't come before God standing. We come before him in humility, on our knees, in prayer. We worship him, we bow before him. We come to him acknowledging who we are, that he is a great God, and we are his children. So if you are able to come before him in humility, then he will exalt us. So you see all the images there, they are all bowing in prayer before the Lord. In fact, the Magi, when they went to Herod looking for Jesus, they said, so that we will do what? We will adore him. We have come to adore him. We have come to worship him. So we go before God, not primarily to go and ask for needs. Then in that case, then it's like he's a utilitarian God. So if we have no needs, then we wouldn't come before him. But that shouldn't be the case. We come to God to come and adore him. You see? So always, when you go to church, wherever, you are going to worship God. That is the primary reason why we go to church, why we go before him. As for the needs and stuff, they are secondary. So you can see the Magi, everybody bowing before him, adoring him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. And it is significant to note that we do not have only human beings present, but we have, as you can see, the cattle, and then the donkey, the sheep, and then the human beings also. It's to tell us that he is the Lord of the whole of creation. The whole of creation. So the salvation of the Lord is not just to save human beings, but to save the whole of creation. The whole of creation has been affected by original sin. So if Christ is coming to save the world, then it's the whole of creation. So human beings are there, the animals are there. He's coming to restore everything. That's why we say he's got the whole world in his hands. 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 Yeah, that is the King. And remember when he was born, so winter, cold winter night. So even as we celebrate the joy of Christmas and stuff, that is why we think of those who may be less privileged in one way or the other. You know, that is why we do not keep the joy of Christmas to ourselves. Because first and foremost, God has given us the gift of His Son. That is Christmas. So God has been generous to us by giving us that gift. Jesus is God's greatest gift. There is no greater gift than the gift of Jesus. And God has given Him to us. And that is what we receive at Christmas. That joy, the light of Christ. So we in turn, having received this gift, then we'll go out and share the gift with others. That is why during Christmas we give gifts. Because we have received the gift of God, that is Jesus Christ. And we must share this gift with others. So it's not only with family and friends, but even with people, the less privileged. That's why some people will go to the orphanages, the home for the aged, and the rest, and bring this gift with them, share this gift with them. That is the spirit of Christmas. You know, so it's not basically about eating and drinking. That is not the point. So as you watch this nativity scene, it teaches us a lot. That you didn't have things, luxurious things, and so you are worried as if God has forsaken you, God has abandoned you. No. Here is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords lying in a manger. Lying in a manger. It's to tell us that we talk of richness of life. It's not necessarily about the things that you have, the clothes that you wear. Yes, they are good, but it doesn't kind of take anything away from you. Nothing is taken away from you if you do not have these things. It is about your heart. It's about your spirit. And when you have it, you will have it. And these are the people who came to Jesus. Simple people. Simple people. First, it was the shepherds, you know. And you know that the shepherds, so that means the Jews, right? So they received the message from the angel telling them that newborn king, a new king has been born, a child has been born. So then they were singing the Gloria, you know. So first the Jews came, and then they came to worship Jesus, to adore him. And later on, then the Magi also came, what we call we say the three wise men, you know, as whether they were four, whatever, fine. But traditionally, the Magi, they came. The Magi, they are from the east, or from Persia, or from, yes. So they are not Jews. They are not Jews. And so the Magi, they are the representatives of all the non-Jews in the world. Are you getting it? So first, the shepherds were there. The shepherds represent the Jews. And Jesus is a Jew. Then later on, the Magi from the east also came because they saw the star and they followed the star until it brought them. Of course, they went to Herod's palace first, and then later on they came to Jesus. So they are representing us, we who are not Jews. And this is significant. It's to tell us that Jesus didn't come for only the Jews. He came for the whole world, both Jews and non-Jews. So in fact, they will tell you that the first Christmas is for the Jews, like 25th, what we celebrate. And then later on, we have the Feast of the Epiphany. The Feast of the Epiphany is where we celebrate Of course, when we talk of epiphany, we are talking of the manifestation. And Jesus manifested himself in basically, let's say, in 3 ways. He manifested himself during his baptism. He manifested his glory also during the wedding at Cana. But then here, when he was born, he also manifested himself to the non-Jews, the Magi, who came to him. And so that is what we celebrate. And so January 7, we will celebrate the feast of the Epiphany. It falls on Sunday. But traditionally, the 6th of January, 6th January is the feast of the Epiphany, celebrating the Magi who came to also adore Jesus. And so I remember very well when we were taught this in the seminary, and the professor insisted, Donald Himfe, he insisted that Epiphany is our Christmas. So when we are celebrating Epiphany, we should celebrate it as though we were celebrating the Christmas of 25th. You know, we are celebrating the Christmas of 25th. So Epiphany is very important also for us, we who are not Jews. So you see, there is a lot that we can say about the Christmas crèche or the nativity scene. It is not idol worship, no. It's a practical way of bringing the gospel alive, so that even without the book, as you stand before it, it's like the Bible brought to life before you. The enchanting image of the Christmas crèche. So let us continue to let the joy of Christmas be in our hearts. Not only one day, in fact, not only through the Christmas season. No, it should be always. We have been created for joy. You know, we have been created for joy. And the joy of the Lord is our strength. So we have to be joyful always, not only at Christmas time. So the Christmas crèche will be displayed throughout the Christmas season. The Christmas season ends with the baptism of the Lord. The baptism of the Lord. So as for the world, 25th, 26th, Christmas is over. They are doing their business, you know. But for us, the church, we know that Christmas is our season. It's our festival. It's our festival. So Christmas is not just 25th. It's a whole season. And it ends with the baptism of the Lord. Then we go to ordinary time. So let us continue to be joyful. Let us continue to be happy. And thank God for letting his Son come into the world in order to die for us, in order to save us. He has become one like us so that we will become like him also. And as 1 John will say, we have an advocate with the Father. In other words, we have a lawyer in heaven, the one who pleads our cause, who defends us. We have a representative in heaven, in the person of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. So we thank God for being God and being generous with us. May the joy of Christmas continue to endure in your heart, and do all you can to preserve this joy, and don't let the devil steal your joy. Remember, you have been created for joy. May God bless you, protect you from all that is evil, and keep you under his care. Amen. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.